Thank you, Chairman Furman, for coming to testify today. And I want to thank you also, once again, for coming to testify on occupational licensing just last month in the Judiciary Committee. I'd like to speak with you about innovation and get your thoughts on a piece of your report that focused on the potential job market effects of robots. It seems that we might be nearing a really significant technological inflection point, one that could have profound implications for our economy. Boston Dynamics continues to release videos of robots with incredible mobility and coordination, while industrial applications involving machine learning and analytical algorithms that at some level simulate cognition continue to advance. Some observers have suggested that we may be on the edge of a new wave of innovation, and that this new wave of innovation might in some ways be similar to that which was spurred on by the invention of the internal combustion engine, for example, which of course effectively led to a really sharp and economically significant decline in the use of horses. First of all, as policymakers, should we be thinking about automation as a discrete issue, or is it better thought of as a piece of a larger challenge involving globalization, trade, and a number of other similar factors? I'm referring in particular to the challenges facing lower skilled, lower income workers and their jobs.
I think that's a great question, and it's something that I know I grapple with all the time. I think to some degree that's all one set of issues, but I think automation brings it to the fore in a very direct way. In theory, automation shouldn't present any problem at all. We've had automation for thousands of years, and we always find more jobs for people. But in practice, that can come at a cost, either in terms of inequality, if you don't have the skills to benefit from it, or some people who get displaced don't find another job, and you might call it transitional or temporary, but that could last for decades.
Right, right, and which is part of why I raised the question here. This one could be different in some ways, and I was looking to try to stay ahead of the curve. Now, your report estimates a high likelihood that jobs today paying less than $20 per hour will eventually be automated. There doesn't seem to be a hard timetable
for that
projection, but is that accurate?
That's accurate, and we were drawing on research that was done at Oxford in that regard. McKinsey has also done their own research that reaches similar conclusions to what's presented there.
Yeah, the current administration, of course, supports raising the minimum wage, and obviously every policy has trade-offs. That's what we try to hash out in these debates, and one of the things that we discuss in this committee are the economic implications of policies like that one. But if low-paying jobs are the ones that are most threatened, potentially threatened by automation, doesn't raising the minimum wage just raise the cost of low-skilled work and incentivize employers to accelerate the process of automating these jobs, the very jobs that we're perhaps most concerned about?
Right. I mean, the evidence that I've seen for moderate increases in the minimum wage phased in over time, similar to the types of proposals that have been put forward in Congress, has found that they don't have adverse effects on employment. But certainly if you were to raise the minimum wage to $30 an hour, I would expect you would have a trade-off.
At some point, you're going to get there to a trade-off, and perhaps when you factor in the effects of automation, that trade-off could end up being significant.
I think it's important. It's part of an overall strategy that makes sure our workers have more skills and more productivity.
Got it. And I want to be clear. I'm not trying to get you to disavow the President's policies here. I know that's not something that's going to happen, certainly not in this forum and not in your current position. But what I'm asking is, if our goal as a society is that an honest day's work should earn an honest day's wage, and machines are going to make it harder, and in some cases perhaps impossible, for low-skilled, entry-level Americans to find an honest day's work, doesn't the basic design of our social safety net have to perhaps look a lot different than it does today?
I think it certainly has implications for how we design our social safety net, and I think that's an important conversation to have. I wouldn't throw out the lessons of the last 50 years, and we have a certain idea of what's worked and what's not. I think minimum wage has worked. I think earned income tax credit has worked. But I think we should be thinking hard about these questions going forward as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Furman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.